Hello students, this video is on solving quadratics by factoring. So we're going to continue on, and in this next unit we're talking about all the different ways that you can solve quadratic equations. So this first method is by factoring. So we just finished the factoring unit. What you're going to do first is you want to make sure that your quadratic equation is set equal to 0 and that the a value is greater than 0, meaning that the a value is positive. So let's go ahead and fill in these steps here. So the first thing that you want to do is you do want to set the equation equal to 0 where a is positive. Then you want to factor out a GCF if there is one, and then always factor out a negative if a is less than 0. After you factor out the GCF, make sure that you look for any factoring by grouping or the box method. So in other words, if you factored out a GCF and you still have a trinomial that's left over, or a binomial that has a squared term, then you're probably going to need to use grouping, the box method, or the patterns. Then once you do that, then you will set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. You will have two solutions unless your factors are the same, like this example, x minus 4 times x minus 4 equals 0, because when you set those equal to 0, they would come out to be the same thing. So those would only have one solution. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some examples, and I've copied the steps over here on the right that you can follow along as we're working through these problems. So the first thing you want to make sure is that your quadratic is set equal to 0, which this one is. The next thing you want to look for is a GCF, and so if you remember from the last unit, you want to look for what they have in common. So if I write this in expanded form, this would be 5 times x times x. 15 breaks down into 3 times 5 times x. So you can see that they have a 5x in common. So 5x is our GCF. So we're going to go ahead and divide that out, put it on the outside, then draw your parentheses for the leftovers. So I'm left with x minus 3 equals 0. And at this point, look at what you have in parentheses. If you have a quadratic, meaning you have an x squared, then you'd want to keep factoring, but I don't, so this will be my factors. So the next step is to set them equal to 0. So the reason why we do this is I want to show you really quick. The only way that you can get 0, when you have two numbers that are multiplied to give you multiplied together and they equal 0, the only way that can happen is if one of them is equal to 0. So if I have 0 times some number, that's still going to give me 0. Or if I have some number times 0, that's going to be 0. So if you notice, we've got two values here. This factor could be equal to 0, or this factor could be equal to 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to set each of these factors equal to 0 so that we can figure out what the x value would have to be for each one of them to be 0. So we're going to take that 5x and we're going to set it equal to 0. We're also going to take the x minus 3 and set it equal to 0. So we're going to have two solutions. So this one here, you'd want to divide by 5. So x would be equal to 0. Here you would add 3, and that would be x equals 3. So the two solutions that would give me this value right here as 0 would be 0 and 3. And you could plug those in to make sure that they work, and they do. So your two solutions are 0 and 3. All right, so let's look at this next example. The next example, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you set your equation equal to 0. We would like our a value to be positive, and right now our a value is negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over to the right side so that our a value is now positive. So this would cancel and give me 0 equals, go ahead and write your x squared value first, so 4x squared plus 12x. Okay, we'll look for the GCF. If I write it in expanded form, looks like this. So I'd have 2 times 2 times x times x. Here I would have 2 times 2 times 3x. And you can see that they both have a 2x in common. Actually, they have 2 2's. So they've got both these 2's and an x in common. So you can see that your GCF would be 4x. So let's go ahead and divide that out. So we have 0 equals 4x, and then your leftovers, x plus 3. All right, I don't have a quadratic left over, so now I'm going to go ahead and set both of those factors equal to 0. So we've got 4x equals 0, and we have x plus 3 equals 0. And go ahead and solve those. So I would divide by 4, x would be equals 0, and I would subtract 3, so x would be equal to -3. So those are our solutions, and there you go. All right, let's look at 3 more examples. We have x squared plus 2x minus 3. Now this is a trinomial. I don't have a GCF. You know that you're not going to have a GCF when your a value is 1. So we need to go ahead and do this by the box or grouping. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it by the box method. So if I make my box, in the first box I'm going to have x squared. In the last box, I'm going to have -3. So if I multiply my a times my c, that's just going to give me -3. And I'm looking for factors of that add up to 2. So that would be 3 times a -1. So when I put it in my box, I'm going to have a plus 3x, and I'm going to have a -1x. Remember that these signs are what come to the outside. So up here I'm going to have a plus, and out here I'm going to have a minus. Then we want to look for what they have in common. So in the first column, x squared and x, they have an x in common. The second column, 3x and 3, I can divide out a 3. In the top row, I just have an x in common. And in the bottom row, they don't have anything in common, but remember, if they don't have anything in common, you need to mark your place with a 1. So my 2 factors are x minus 1 and x plus 3. And remember, this is equal to 0. So I would need to set both of those equal to 0. So I'm going to set this one equal to 0, and I'm going to set this one equal to 0. So x minus 1 equals 0, I'd have to add 1, so that would be x equals 1. And then x plus 3 equals 0, you would subtract 3, so that would give you x equals -3. So those are your solutions. And I would always try and plug them back in to make sure that they work so that you know that you have the correct answer. All right, let's move on to E. In example E, we have -3x squared minus 33x equals 30. Now, the a value is negative, so let's go ahead and move that to the other side. So we're going to have plus 3x squared. We're going to go ahead and move this one over too, so plus 33x, and all of that is going to come over here. So we're going to have 3x squared plus 33x plus 30, and that's equal to 0. Look for a GCF. I noticed that I can divide all of these by 3, so go ahead and pull that out on the outside. So if I divide all of those by 3, I'm going to have x squared plus 11x plus 10. So now as I factor, I'm going to go ahead and make my AC chart. So 1 times 10 is 10, and I'm looking for factors of 10 that add to 11. Well, you can see that your factors are 1 and 10. And if you'll remember correctly, anytime you have an A value of 1, your factors are going to be just what you have in this chart. So you have x plus 1 and x plus 10. And so if you'll remember that shortcut, it'll save you a little bit of time when your A value is 1. At this point, I would set each of them equal to 0. If I set this one equal to 0 and this one, now notice I don't have to do the 3 because the 3 does not have an x. If it had an x, then you would need to set it equal to 0. If I do x plus 1 equals 0, I would have to subtract 1. That would give you x equals -1. And then if I subtract 10, so I've got x plus 10 equals 0, I would need to subtract 10, so x would equal -10. And those are your answers. All right, let's look at the next one. Now our A value is already positive, so I'm going to just subtract this 8 over here so that I can get it equal to 0. So I've got 4x squared minus 1 minus 8 would be -9, or minus 9 equals 0. Now this is a binomial. I can't divide anything out of 4 and 9, but when it's a binomial, you want to look for that pattern of a difference of squares, which this is because you want to look for something squared that would give you 4x squared, and that would be 2x. Also look for something that squared would give you 9, and that would be 3. So for this pattern, this is a difference of squares, and if you'll remember, difference of squares always takes these values and make one of them a plus, so 2x plus 3, and on the other one it would be 2x minus 3. And those are equal to 0. So at this point, I'm going to set each of them equal to 0. So 2x plus 3 equals 0, and 2x minus 3 equals 0. So I would have to subtract 3. 2x equals -3. Then I would divide by 2. So x equals a -3 halves. Over here, I would add 3. So I'd get 2x equals 3, and then I would have to divide by 2, so I would get x equals 3 halves. So the solution for this one, I'm going to go ahead and write it over here, would be x equals -3 halves and x equals +3 halves. All right, so for this last example, it says you're standing on your second-story balcony and you see your little brother walking down below, and you decide you want to drop an egg on his head. Really, you're going to be throwing it up and hoping that it drops on his head. The path the egg travels can be modeled by the equation h of t equals -16t squared plus 9, where h is the height in feet of the egg at any given time t in seconds. If your brother is 5 feet tall, how long would it take for the egg to hit your brother's head? Okay, so I want you to think about this. You're up here on this balcony, okay? and your brother is walking below. You're going to throw this egg, and you're going to want it to land on his head. Well, if you remember, he is 5 feet tall. So where it lands is at that 5 feet. Well, your height that it's landing at is what goes in place of h of t. So basically, when you're solving this problem, I'm going to call this part A, you want to plug in a 5 for the height for this equation. And you're trying to solve for t because you want to know how long is it going to take for it to hit his head. So you need to get everything on one side. Now I'm going to go ahead and move these guys over here. And so you'll have a plus 16t squared, or a positive. That's why I'm moving it over there, so that that would become a positive. When I subtract 9 over here, that's going to give me minus 4. So let me erase this. And so here I would have minus 4 equals 0. All right, so it does look like you do have a GCF. I can divide both of those by 4. So I'm going to have 4 on the outside. Divide both of those by 4. You would be left with 4t squared minus 1. And that equals 0. Okay, so now this is a difference of squares, because we can do 2t squared and we can do 1 squared for 1. So therefore our factors are going to be 4 parentheses 2t plus 1 and 2t minus 1. And so now you would need to set both of those equal to 0. If I set this one equal to 0, I would get t equals, I would have to subtract 1 and then divide by 2. So that would give me a negative 1/2. Over here, when I set that equal to 0, I would add 1 and then divide by 2. So that would be a 1/2. Now t is in seconds. It doesn't make sense to have a negative second, so this is not realistic, but this one is. It's going to take half of a second to drop on your brother's head. So this is how long it would take. Now, part 2, which I'm going to call part B, is when will it hit the floor? Well, it's going to hit the ground. That means the height is going to be 0. So when will it hit the ground? So we've got negative 16t squared plus 9. So we're going to go ahead, since it's already set equal to 0, I want to change that a value to not be negative. So you're just going to go through and you're going to change these to be opposite signs. So you're going to have 0 equals 16t squared minus 9 now. There's not a GCF there, but those are a difference of squares. So you're going to have 4t squared that gives you 16t squared, and then 3 squared gives you 9. So use these values to set up your difference of squares. So 0 equals 4t plus 3 and 4t minus 3. So when I set both of those equal to 0, I would have t equals, so I'd have to subtract 3 and then divide by 4. And then I also have t equals add 3 and divide by 4. Again, the negative 3/4 doesn't make sense in the problem, but 3/4 does, so it is 3/4 of a second until it hits the ground. All right, so I hope this has been helpful. You will come to class and you will work on some practice problems on solving by factoring.